Work in a room, meeting with people. It's one of the jobs of a CEO is to be out there, engaging customers, prospects, regulators. People can provide you money, and many CEOs don't do that very well, but I think that's really critical. And Nancy's been helpful to me in my business, and I thought that she would share some of her tips and experiences to help you. So, without further ado, go ahead.
Thank you. I give a 3-hour workshop with a friend of mine who's also a very good connector, and I've selected a couple of tips today to share with you that is from our seminar. We're going to be talking about networking, connecting, relationship building. They're really all the same term. They really mean the same thing. It's just a matter of learning how to build relationships with people. It's a matter of using this as a business tool. It's not something you just turn on and turn off, spur of the moment. It's really a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week process that becomes part of what you do, part of who you are. And it really can be a new eye-opener and a great business builder. The first suggestion I have for people is to really find a connection with a person. Find that emotional appeal, which is a really great way to establish and create a strong new friendship and a really strong relationship based on trust. People do like to do business with people that they like, and you can get to know a person if you really touch on more of an emotional basis. Get to know them, not so much at what their business is, but really more of what they like to do, where they live, what their hobbies are, what their passions are. Getting to know that about them can really be a eye-opener and a much better way to connect with people. That also naturally turns into business. And I have a little story that I can tell you that Marion tells. Marion owned an advertising agency in Philadelphia for about 20 years. And one day she was going out to meet a prospect. She was going to be presenting her portfolio, and then they were going to have a lunch. So she walks into the office, opens up the portfolio, begins to make her presentation, and realizes it was really flat. There was no connection. She can see that there was no way that there was going to be any business here, and in fact the woman said, well, I really don't think I have anything for you. So they proceeded to go to lunch. Marion's thinking, I'm going to have to spend an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and a half with this woman. We're not connecting. What are we going to talk about? Marion's a reader. She began to talk about books. Turns out this woman, this prospect, belonged to 2 book clubs, and they spent the rest of the time talking about books, talking about their passion, and at the end of the lunch, the woman said, I think I have a project that we can work on together, and for 10 years they worked together. So that's a really, I think, a memorable way that you can understand if connecting with somebody on a more emotional, personal basis can really take you to the next level. Next thing I'd like you to know and remember is a giver's gain. Be the first person to offer help, to make a connection, offer a referral, offer to send them, a person, a restaurant review, or to talk about a book. And we like to think about it as going around the world, your city, the country, depositing goodwill in bank accounts all around the area, so that when you need something, when you need some help or a referral, you can go and extract from money, if you will, in this case, relationships, through those bank accounts. And it makes it much more comfortable for you to ask for help when you've already given help, and the person you've helped is happy to be able to give back. So be the first person to give. The other thing is I want to cover some quick how to be comfortable at a networking event. These can be very scary and intimidating for people, but they can actually be a lot of fun and very productive. The first thing to do is you need to be strategic. Woody Allen always said that 80% of success is just showing up, and that's not in the case with networking events. You really need to plan ahead and be strategic. The first thing we suggest you do is get a list of the attendees before you go. See if there's anyone on the list in particular you'd like to meet. If you know somebody who knows that person, call them up, find out a little bit about them. So when you go to the event, you can go up to them and say, you know, we have a friend in common. She tells me you like to do X, Y, Z, and you can start off on the right foot with making a new friend, which could turn into a really good business relationship. So get the list ahead of time. We also suggest that if you don't know anyone, if you get there, when you get there, talk to the organizer. Usually the organizer knows most of the people there. Also, if you go with a friend or a colleague, split up. Don't sit together, don't chat together. It's okay to circle back and you can introduce each other to the other people that you've already met, but don't hang out with them because that doesn't serve your purposes of building your network. We also suggest you follow what we call the early clump theory. There's nothing more intimidating to go into a room of 200 people who are already deeply engrossed in conversation in clumps throughout the room. What you want to do is be one of the first people there so you can establish your own clump so you're already comfortable in talking with people and engaging with them. Another tip is no naked business cards. When you give someone a business card, write a note on the back, something that suggests a follow-up. Maybe it's a referral that you said you were going to make. Put the name of the person on the back of the card so they remember who you're going to be connecting them with. Also, networking events, you don't leave them saying you won if you have more business cards collected than anybody else. What you want to do is collect 2 or 3 or 4 business cards from people who you really want to engage with in the future. So that's really important. Wear something memorable. A pin, a scarf. If you're a gentleman, wear really eye-catching ties, something visually that they'll be able to recall you when you call them up or send them an email and say, oh, that was the woman that had that pearl pin on. And name tags, be sure you wear your name tags. And my final tip is make sure you carry your business cards. It amazes me how many times I've gone to business events and people had just run out of cards or forgot to bring their cards. So make sure you have extra in your wallet, your pocketbook, your car, so that you can run out and get them if you need them. So that's some really quick tips on how to handle a networking event. Last tip is a really important one, and that is make sure you are gracious. Be sure you thank people. When someone gives you a referral, follow up, thank them, preferably with a handwritten note. Not too many people write or receive handwritten notes anymore, so when you do receive them, you do remember them and appreciate them because you know they take extra time to write. However, if you don't have the time, be sure you follow up with email or phone calls. Just follow up in some way. Make sure you show them how much you appreciate what they have done for you. So those are my tips for the day, and I really hope you'll find comfortable ways to employ them.
Let me ask you a question. Most of our viewers are women, and women generally don't go to these events. I guess it could be child issues, family obligations. What have you done to really help women kind of get more comfortable, or what should they be focused on when they get there? Because it's important for them to network, but my members have told me that they have a hard time doing that. How do you break the ice? How do you really get them out there?
Well, one of the things I do suggest if you do go, and I mentioned this, is to have somebody make some introductions for you.
Okay.
That's really the best thing, to go up to the host or one of the people who is with the event and say, I don't know anybody here, this is not comfortable for me, would you be willing to introduce me to some people who you think I might want to know or might want to know me? I ask for help. Admit to people that this is not something that's comfortable for you and that you need that extra boost.
When obviously a lot of times you and other women are typically the only women in the room, mostly men.
That's a great situation.
Okay, so expand upon that, because
that's a great, because you stand out.
Right.
In fact, I'll turn the tide on this one a little bit. I went to an event a couple of months ago, and there was only one man in the room. He happened to be tall and good-looking and young.
Was that
and,
me?
Yeah, yes, it was.
Okay,
Wade. It was
sorry.
your brother. So, what do you think? Do you think that all of us went up to him and congratulated him on being there and having the confidence? Well, if you're the only woman in the room, you can really behave the same way. And the fact that you are special in the room and you can act that way and use that to your advantage.
You know, women typically, they tend to be more open in their voicing their emotions and things like that. So to me, we kind of be natural for a networking event to be true to who you are, but I guess they're still shy about it. I guess maybe it's an upbringing, or why do you think women still aren't aggressive enough when it comes to networking?
Well, it's perhaps they don't know what they want from it.
Okay.
And what they want the result to be.
Okay.
If you go in saying that I need to meet 2 or 3 people who maybe you're on a committee, a nonprofit committee, and you're looking to build your network by having other people participate. Have in mind a particular type of person, something they might say that suggests that they might have a passion for what you do, and use that as a goal for the evening. That's probably the best suggestion.
So maybe that's a really good suggestion. If you're involved in an organization, like I know you're in the Red Cross, I think, or United Way. United Way, they have a big event, and so if you're actually on the planning committee, you're involved, so you're there, so you're more comfortable, and if you're there and you can network, versus just going as a stranger and not really knowing anybody.
That's right. In fact, last year for the Women's Initiative of the United Way, I put a table together, and I invited a lot of different people who I knew did not know each other, and I purposely built that table so that I can introduce people that I know to other people who didn't know each other. And that was a very comfortable thing to do. I also take the approach for someone who may be uncomfortable, pretend it's your own party.
Right.
And you are the host. And work on introducing people that you meet to other people. And that way, frankly, you don't get stuck with talking with someone that you're feeling like, okay, this is not going anywhere, where you can say, Wayne, I have a friend over here, I'd really like to introduce you to that friend, would you come with me? And that way, I bring Wayne with me, I introduce him to my friend and someone that they may be talking to, and then there's 4 of us talking in a group rather than 2 groups of 2.
Yeah. And similar to the event you did about 3-4 weeks ago, where you actually do your own event.
Right.
Who says you have to kind of go to somebody else's? If you're uncomfortable and shy, invite people to your office or to your workplace, or rent a hall and ask vendors to invite their friends, and ask your clients to invite their friends, and you actually wind up bringing people where you're more comfortable.
That's right.
Rather than seeking out, and there's nothing wrong with going to Chamber of Commerce events, but maybe have your own event around a certain theme and attract people you won't normally see.
That's right. Also, if you have a friend who is really comfortable networking, ask them to chaperone you or be your networking buddy. At a couple of events, watch that person, see how they interact, what they say, and how easily and fluid they are in the group. And you can pick up tips that way, and then you'll be more comfortable doing it yourself.
Right. So everybody's homework assignment, the holiday season, make sure you're out there networking. Again, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.